Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Excuse the ray of sunshine. Look at that. That is so pretty. Now I've done this little sort of cluster and I've done a V-stitch as well. This is the right side. Well, that side's quite nice as well, isn't it? And I've gotten all of this from one ball and I've started this ball, so I got all of that out of one ball of yarn. But look at that pattern, it's really pretty. So for this stitch, chain whatever amount you want, but keep yourself a sort of longish tail. So if you don't have enough stitches, you can make some more with this tail. So I'm going to do a slip knot. I'm just going to wrap my yarn around my fingers, push that part through, and it makes a little lasso. Tighten it on to your hook. If you can't do that and you're an absolute beginner, then just tie it on. Just wrap it around and tie it on. It won't make any difference. So I'm going to do a chain. So I am just going to chain and chain. Do your chain nice and loose. Chain whatever amount you want. I'm sure with this one it's sets of 2. But it doesn't matter. If you don't have enough, we'll use the tail to make some extra stitches. Or if you've got too many, you just pick them out. So I'll do that for my sample. So what you're going to do is into the 4th stitch from the chain, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to go into that stitch and pull your yarn through. So you've got 2 stitches on your hook. Go into the next one and pull your yarn through. You've got 3 stitches. Into the next one, pull your yarn through. You've got 4, and through again, and you've got 5. Put your yarn over and pull through all of those stitches. Chain 1. Now where you're going now is, can you see that hole where you've just done that chain 1 in there? You're going in there and you're going to pull a stitch through. So you've got 2 on your hook. This one here, can you see this one? Not the line, the one that's there, the hole next to that stitch. You're going in there. That's 3 on your hook. Go into the next stitch. That's 4, and the next one, that's 5. So all the way along we're going to be using 2 stitches from our chain. So yarn over and pull right through. Chain 1. Now can you see that hole there, right where you've done your chain 1? Go in there and pull your yarn through, and then into that hole there. See that hole? Not the stitch, into the hole where all those stitches are. Into there and pull through. So you've got 3, and then use 2 from your chain. 4 and 5. Yarn over and pull through. Chain 1. Go into that hole there again under that chain 1. Into that big stitch. You've got 3 stitches. Into the next one in your chain, you've got 4. The next one in your chain, you've got 5. Yarn over, pull through all those stitches and chain 1. And there's the hole that you're going to use. So go into there, pull a stitch through. Leave that line. You're going into the hole at the bottom of that line there. Through there and pull. You've got 3 stitches. You're making up your stitches as we go along. and then use 2 from the chain right through, yarn over and pull through, chain 1 into that space again, right under your chain 1, then into that hole, that's 3, one of the chain stitches, that's 4, and the next one in your chain, that's 5. Yarn over, pull through all those loops, chain 1, go into that hole there, in there, and pull through, go into the hole that's here, that's your chain stitches, you're going into that one there, and pull through, that's 3, then use a chain, 4, and the next stitch in your chain is 5, yarn over and pull through, chain 1, then into the hole under the chain, into the hole that's here, that's 3, and use 2 of your chain stitches, just go through that side loop and through the next one, and you've got 5 stitches, yarn over, pull through and chain 1, and it makes this really pretty stitch. Look at that, it's really pretty. I like it. So again, you're going into that hole, right under that chain, and then down into this sort of larger hole. Don't go into that line, go into the hole and make a stitch, and then we're going to use 2 from the chain, 1 and 2, yarn over, pull through all your stitches, chain 1, right in under there, under that chain 1 you just did, into that hole there, making 2 extra stitches. Use a stitch from the chain and another one. Yarn over and pull through all your stitches. Chain 1 into that hole right where your chain was, and then into the hole at the bottom of your stitch, and then use your last 2 chains. Pull through and pull through, yarn over and pull through all of those stitches and chain 1. Now I need one more stitch. I need one more stitch to do a treble crochet on the end of here, and I don't have it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push my hook through that bottom stitch, pull the yarn through from my tail, and I'm going to make myself one chain. Pull the yarn right through that other stitch you've got, and that'll lock it. That'll lock your tail again. And I've given myself an extra stitch. So you don't need a stitch count, no matter what type of blanket you're making. If you leave yourself a long enough tail, you can add the stitches in you need. If you've got too many, you just pick it out. So your very last stitch is a treble crochet. So through that last stitch and do a treble crochet, and look at that. So your little chain is your first treble crochet. So you can do your chain as long as you like. What you're going to do now is you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn your work. So into the cluster, can you see the eye of that cluster there? In there, we're going to put 2 treble crochets. We're going to the next one and we'll put 2 treble crochets in. Into the next one, 2 treble crochets. We're going to do a little V stitch. So yarn over and into the eye of that cluster. Can you see that hole? You're going in there. I'm going to do 1 and 2. Go to the next one, into that hole there, skip that stitch, put 2 treble crochets into that hole, If you're in the USA, this is a double crochet. Skip that one and go into the one that's right in the middle of your little circle, into the middle of your little cluster. I'm going to put 2 treble crochets, and it creates this little sort of V stitch into the next one. And this is what your pattern is. That's it. It just grows so quickly. Into the next one, into the middle of that cluster. Into the next one. Put 2 in there. Make sure you put 2 in to each one. In the next one. Two into the next one. All the way along your chain or your work. So we're going into that little stitch you can see right in there. Into that one. And into the chain here, you're going to put a treble crochet. Just put 1 treble crochet into the top of that chain. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn your work. Now what you're going to do is into that chain stitch down there, push your hook and pull a stitch through into the first chain, the top chain. Now we're going down into here. Can you see that hole at the bottom of the chain? In there and make a stitch. So we've got 3 stitches. We're going through the next stitch and through the next stitch, and we've got 5 stitches. Yarn over and just pull through them all. Chain 1. So you've still got your chain of 3 makes the side of your blanket, and you've made your little cluster. So again, we're going to just repeat that cluster row. You're going into this stitch right underneath the one that's gathered all of those stitches up. So go in there and make a stitch. That's 2. Now we're going down into this right at the bottom of your cluster. You can clearly see that hole there. In there and make your next stitch. And then we're going to use the next 2 stitches of this cluster. Go right through, pull your yarn through, that's 1, right through, pull your yarn through, that's 2. Yarn over and pull through all of those stitches, chain 1. Now make another stitch at the bottom of there, right under there, pull through, and then in to the bottom of the cluster and make another stitch. Then you're going to go through the top of your little V stitches. Go through that one and through the next one, pull your yarn through. We're making stitches as we go along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yarn over and pull through all of those stitches. Chain 1, make a stitch from underneath, 1 stitch from that hole, and use the next 2 stitches on your pattern. So pull through, yarn through and pull through. So each time when you're making a cluster, you're using the tops of these stitches, but you're making extra ones coming down. pull through all of those stitches, chain 1. So we're going into there again. That's what this row is. Pull through into the bottom of the cluster, that stitch there. That makes 3, and then we're going to use the top of these 2 stitches here, this one and this one. So go right through and pull your yarn through, right through and pull your yarn through, yarn over, pull through all your stitches, chain 1, make a stitch, make a stitch, and you're going to use the last 2 from your V-stitch. Your last one will be a 1 single treble crochet. So make a stitch from that and 1 from there, yarn over, right through, chain 1, and then you're going to do a double crochet into that chain of 3, into the top of that chain of 3. Now we're going to do our V-stitches again. So chain 3, 1, 2 and 3. Now into the eye of your little cluster, there are all the little eye parts. See those little circles? You're going to put your 2 treble crochets. So you're going to put 2 treble crochets into that one, 2 treble crochets into the next one. So you're skipping that stitch there and going in into that one. You can see it like a half a moon. 2 treble crochets or double crochets if you're in the USA. Yarn over and into the next little eyelet. And that's what the repeat is. It's really simple, using this little V-stitch and that little cluster, the way we've done it, into the next one. And we've got one more here. And our last stitch at the top of our chain of 3, we're going to do a treble crochet into there. Just go into the top of that stitch. Make sure you get the right part of your stitch. Into there. Wrong part. So that's your chain there. So make sure that you're going into the top of your chain and not into your little circle there. Into the top of the chain, and you do 1 treble crochet. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3 and turn. Now into that very top chain, go into the side of it and make a stitch, and then come down to the very bottom. So that's your chain, and that's the space we're going to use. Put your hook through and make a stitch, and that's going to keep your little chain of 3 up the side of your blanket like this. So now we're going to go, we've got 3 stitches, we'll go into the top of these 2, in there and in there. 1 and 2. You've got 5 stitches, yarn over, come through all of those 5 stitches and chain 1 and go into the stitch under the chain, into the stitch at the bottom of the cluster. That's your major extra stitch, that's your major stitches, and these 2, use the 2 off the pattern, 1 there and 1 there. Yarn over, pull through, chain 1 and go under the chain and make a stitch, into the hole and make a stitch, and then use the next 2 stitches off your blanket. Yarn over, pull through, chain 1, into the chain, into the hole and into the next 2 stitches. It's so easy. Once you get into the rhythm of this, it is so easy and quick. And at the end, you're going to do a treble crochet into the top of that chain. And then you'll chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn. And we're going to do our V stitches again. So into your little cluster, the eye of the cluster, you're going to put your 2 treble crochets. 1 and 2. Jump over to the next one. Into that little eye, put 2 treble crochets. And into the next one. All the way along. This is so quick. So if you need a fancy blanket in a hurry, this is the stitch for you. And it's pretty as well. Finish off your blanket. Finish off on that little spiral stitch. And I'll show you one last time. So when you're doing your little cluster, you're going into the top chain. Just go back into the chain and make a stitch. Come down to the bottom of your chain and make a stitch. And then you're going to use the top of your V stitches that you did. 5, pull through all of those stitches, chain 1, and then you'll make another stitch at the bottom and through that one little line under your chain 1 into the hole and then through your 2 V stitches to make 5. And that's what you'll do all the way along for as many rows as you want. And that's what it looks like. Now that's what I would finish my row on. I would finish my row on that little cluster. So when you've done your cluster and then your V-stitch sort of finishes it off and makes it look like a kind of Catherine wheel. And that's what it looks like in this pink. It's really, really pretty. Look at that. And you can use any yarn you like. And what you can also do is you can use a bigger hook. If your yarn says a 5mm, try doing it with a 6 or even a 7. It's really pretty done even with a bigger hook, and it'll really open the pattern up like that if you use a bigger hook. To neaten up your edge, you can do a chain of 3, 1, 2, 3, and you can just do treble crochets. Just equally go along and do a treble crochet all down the edge of your blanket. Just space it out evenly, and that'll give you a nice edge along your blanket. Just space it out. So you can do that to neaten the edge of your blanket as well. So thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Just click on that subscribe button. And if you click on that bell icon, then YouTube will alert you. They'll tell you when I put up a new tutorial. So until the next time, happy crafting. And I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.